Hi there, I'm John Bandler, and we're talking about how my 4 pillars of cybersecurity can be your cybersecurity framework. We'll also talk a little bit about what a cybersecurity framework is, why you can use mine, and what it is. You can see the 4 pillars right there. I'll walk you through it. This is something that an individual can use, a family, a small organization, even a mid-size organization. If there's something you don't understand in this video or you have a question, just ask in the comments. I'll do my best to respond, point you to the right place. I've got a lot of other resources too. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So the 4 pillars is a cybersecurity framework. It's very simple. It's conceptual. Anyone can understand it. But let's talk for a second first about what a cybersecurity framework is. A cybersecurity framework just helps you organize and manage your cybersecurity. Now, individuals and families, normally you don't think you need one, but this is a helpful way to think about it. Organizations do need a way to manage their cybersecurity, and that's where a framework helps. Larger organizations use well-known cybersecurity frameworks, especially if they have employees who specialize in information technology or in information security. One of the best-known frameworks is the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. NIST stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. That's part of the U.S. government. It's funded by taxpayers. It's free to view and use with no licensing, no registration requirements. Now, obviously, smaller organizations might not have an employee with that type of knowledge or experience. Individuals in smaller organizations also need to manage their cybersecurity, and they need to manage their information technology. If they don't have that person with expertise in IT or information security, those well-known cybersecurity frameworks might be really hard to use. So that's where my 4 pillars of cybersecurity comes in, because anybody can understand it, and it's perfect for smaller organizations. Because the 4 pillars of cybersecurity is useful for anyone, no prior experience in cybersecurity or in information technology is required. It's written in plain language. So quick overview of what it is. Now, cybersecurity, it doesn't start with technology. Cybersecurity actually starts with people and their knowledge that's in their brain and the decisions that they make. That's the first pillar. Then it proceeds towards securing the next 3 pillars. So we can lay out all 4 pillars like this. First, improve knowledge and awareness of the human, of the people, of the employees, of the managers, of the owners. Then it's secure computer devices. Then it's secure data and online accounts, and we have a lot of online accounts these days. Then it's secure networks and how we use the internet, and then we repeat, because cybersecurity is never done. Now, in this video, I'll talk a little bit more about each pillar. Just remember, I have more resources on my website and in my books and in my free cybersecurity policy and program. Let's talk more about organizing our cybersecurity with the 4 pillars, and let's start with how we do it as an individual in our home for our family. And cybersecurity starts in the home for a lot of reasons. Home is important for us. It's where we live. It's where our family lives, the most important things in our life. It's also where we can get hands-on skills and practice with technology and cybersecurity, because most of us cannot hire someone to do our IT and cybersecurity in the home. We have to do it ourselves, and we can use the 4 pillars to do this, to secure ourselves, to start doing that, and to continually improve. We start with knowledge, and we informally assess and prioritize the measures we might use and how we'll use them to protect ourselves. This is informal in the home. In the home, we're not going to have a written policy. We're not going to have a formal cybersecurity program, and we probably don't have a legal duty of compliance. This is just about protecting ourselves and our family and doing it efficiently. But the basics of cybersecurity and my 4 pillars help in the home, just like they're going to help you in your workplace. Now let's talk about organization cybersecurity. An organization meaning a company, a nonprofit, even a governmental entity. We're in the workplace, and that requires more formality than just in our personal life. More formality because we're running a business, we're doing stuff, we have a mission, and we might have a legal duty. So organizations probably need written documentation, meaning a cybersecurity policy, maybe other documents. I suggest that every organization should have a cybersecurity program. And I have another video on that, but by that I mean continual ongoing activities. There's a person in charge, there's a policy, there's training. Maybe you're doing written inventories of your devices and data. And for every organization, they should put in that level of effort, detail, and documentation that's appropriate for the organization's size and their risks. If you're a company with 4 employees, you want to keep the documentation minimal. I have a free cybersecurity policy you can use. But if you're an organization with thousands of employees, you're going to need a lot more documentation and detail. You're probably going to have a dedicated information security department. Now let's talk about the first pillar of cybersecurity. It starts with people and knowledge and awareness. And people in the organization should have some knowledge about technology basics, cybersecurity basics, the cybercrime threats, the legal requirements, and more. And different people should have appropriate knowledge. So if you're an entry-level worker, you need to know what to click on or not, when to forward or act on wire transfer instructions, how to use your computer safely. If you're a manager or owner or the president of an organization, you're going to need to know more about a lot of these things because you're making important decisions about the information systems and cybersecurity of your organization. Remember, I have a lot more on each of these pillars on my website, my articles, and in my free cybersecurity policy. The next pillar is protecting computer devices. That means we ensure physical security and control over these devices. We need to protect each device from loss, damage, or theft. A lost laptop or smartphone, that's a problem. It could be a reportable incident. We want to avoid that. We want to inventory all devices to a reasonable degree of detail. And that level of detail, we want to start with the basics and keep improving upon it. And we want a process for bringing devices into commission and taking them out of commission when they're no longer needed before recycling or resale. And we need to make sure that devices are configured properly. And that's just a couple. Again, more on my website. The third pillar is data. Protect data in online accounts and applications. And that starts with an inventory of our data in online accounts, again, to a reasonable degree of detail. But there are so many online accounts that store data and allow us to access and control our services, and we need to know what we have and we need to secure them. Inventory our applications, our cloud-based services, and we need to secure our cloud accounts properly. And important cloud accounts, which is most of them, they need to have complex, unique passwords, and they need to have two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is also known as multi-factor authentication or two-step login, but we need to make sure it is not easy for attackers to get into those online accounts. We have to control access to data and more items on my website or in my books. My fourth pillar of cybersecurity is networks. We need to protect our networks and we need to use the internet safely. So we want to inventory our network hardware, physically secure it, securely configure our routers and switches, use unique and non-default passwords, keep them patched, disable unneeded features, and we need to be conscious of the route that our data takes to and through the internet. And more on my website or in my free policy. And then it's about repeating, because cybersecurity is never done. It's a process of continual improvement. We do what we can when we can, and then we keep improving upon it. If you are the manager or owner of an organization, it is so important that you establish and improve your organization's cybersecurity program. I have other videos on this, including a course. Links will be in the description. And as a quick preview to those, I'll say that organizations can use my 4 Pillars of Cybersecurity in that program, and that's what it's built on. And they also focus on 3 goals. And let's talk about those 3 goals. My 3 goals for cybersecurity. One is protect from cybercrime, and obviously we really wouldn't need to do cybersecurity if it wasn't for cybercrime, so I'll put that first for now. We want to protect from cybercrime and try prevent it from happening. We also want to comply with legal requirements, and there's legal requirements regarding cybersecurity, regarding privacy, and so forth. So organizations need to comply with those laws. I wrote a book on Cyberlaw. And the third is mission. We want to accomplish and achieve our mission. We want to do what our organization is supposed to do, because no organization exists to protect from cybercrime. It doesn't exist to comply with laws. Every organization exists to do their mission: serve clients, serve customers, earn revenue, and do it responsibly. So when we do cybersecurity well, when we manage our organization and our information systems well, that helps us work efficiently and achieve our mission. And when you do those 3 goals well and you manage yourself well, including your information systems, you get a 4th bonus goal of cybersecurity, and that is peace of mind. That is knowing you've done your diligence, you're protecting, complying, and you're doing things efficiently, and that gives you peace of mind, because a lot of organizations don't have peace of mind. They just have this nagging worry that they know they are supposed to be doing things regarding cybersecurity, but they just keep procrastinating. So don't procrastinate. Take a step, take a couple steps, and that helps give you that peace of mind. Some key points. A cybersecurity framework is a way to organize cybersecurity. It's a guide to help you manage cybersecurity. Large organizations might use a cybersecurity framework such as the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, but for individuals, families, smaller organizations, you can use my 4 Pillars of Cybersecurity. Remember, that starts with securing people and their knowledge and awareness, then secure computer devices, then secure data and online accounts, then secure networks, and repeat, because we're never done. It's a process of continual improvement. Next steps I suggest for you: first, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, but then take a step to improve yourself using the 4 pillars. If you're an individual and looking to protect your family and yourself, learn something, secure a device a little better, secure your data and accounts a little better. See the tips on my website. Start with the high priority items. If you're a manager or leader in an organization, you need to start your cybersecurity program. If you haven't yet, improve your cybersecurity program every year at a minimum, or every quarter, and see my do-it-yourself cybersecurity program. It's totally free. All the resources are out there on YouTube and my website, and a course on Udemy. Next resources you can look at: my webpage on my 4 Pillars of Cybersecurity, link in the description. And I want to let you know, I just wrote an article for Reuters about the 4 Pillars. I'm pretty pleased about that. On my website, I have a page about my do-it-yourself cybersecurity program, and I have a free cybersecurity policy that's part of my program available on my website. Lots more references will be in the description, and you can see some on this page maybe. Thanks so much for listening and watching to the end. If you made it to the end, like and subscribe. I've got a lot of other content. If you have a question or a comment, that's what the comments are for. I'll do my best to get to it. You take care, and thanks again for listening.